Ghaleb Cachalia kom uit 'n familie met 'n indrukwekkende ANC-struggle-geskiedenis en tog is hy die DA-burgemeesterskandidaat vir Ekurhuleni. Hy skroom nie vir 'n oomblik om die groen, swart en geel wat in die Gautengse stad die septer swaai, die stryd aan te sê. Ghaleb, what's the reaction been from within your family to you joining the DA as a candidate in Ekurhuleni?
It's been mixed. My close family, who I engaged and advised of my decision and sought their counsel, have been largely supportive of my decision, and if they weren't 100% with it, they were behind my integrity. In the extended family, like in every extended family, you'll get people who disagree.
Because there are many people inside the struggle fraternity, stalwarts even, who are very critical of the ANC, but still resist that switch into any other opposition party. What do you make of that?
It's a quasi-religious thing. It's an inability to cut the umbilical cord, despite the fact that the umbilical cord is full of poison.
So what pushed you over the edge?
I witnessed a project which started in 1994, an exciting project. I was filled with hope and energy. And I saw that project go sour over the years. And I could sit on the sidelines and comment, as I have done, and interfere in my children's lives. Or I could roll up my sleeves and say, time has come to be counted. I took the latter.
Was this slide of the ANC that you had so many hopes for, was this a result of bad leadership?
A mixture, bad leadership, some carrot, some stick, began in my view with the arms trade, with the arms deal, and there was a slide from then onwards, which has now become ubiquitous and inexorable.
That's way before the presidency of Jacob Zuma, though.
Began then.
So the arms deal was a seminal moment for you. Have you not seen inside the party, though, a renewed honesty about the mistakes that need to be rectified, or quite the opposite?
If you look today, there are 100 NEC members, National Executive members of the ANC. Not one has spoken out, bar Praveen Gordhan, who has to. Every single one is kept quiet. That's the National Executive Committee. Then there's the National Working Committee. Not one has spoken out. So
let's just move to Ekurhuleni, where you've now taken up the candidature for mayor for the DA. Mm-hmm. Why the DA? Was this the only option?
Two reasons. I think the DA is a party which has numerical gravitas in terms of numbers. It is the most significant opposition, and that's important because, in my view, one has to build a bulwark against complete domination by one party. And on the other hand, it fits with my views and my values. I'm a liberal with a small L.
Do you believe, though, that the DA can actually break through this ceiling? Let's look at some numbers from Ekurhuleni in 2011 and 2014. I know this is two different kinds of elections, but there we have the municipal election on the chart on your left. Also, the viewers can see this. 30.5% in 2011 for the DA, mm-hmm. And 26.9% in the national election in 2014, recognizing that these are two different contests. Has the DA not hit a ceiling in this city?
Hardly. If you look at those votes and break in the local elections and break them down even further, you'll see that the majority of votes have not come from the black population. There is currently, and I'm there every day, there is such a level of dissatisfaction amongst the black community with what has happened over the years. And those headwinds that blow against the ANC are the winds of change that blow in our direction. I believe that we can make significant inroads into that and up that significantly. The time has never been better.
What are the big drivers, though, of disenchantment among voters in Ekurhuleni before this local government election? What I'm getting at is how relevant are these national fights around kanaal and the Constitutional Court, and how relevant are local issues?
The local issues are issues around service delivery, about the lack in the majority of places where people live in unimaginable poverty, the lack of water, the lack of sewage, the lack of electricity, the lack of transport, the absolute absence of jobs, the complete and utter huge levels of corruption. People aren't stupid. They see this. And they look back over 20 years and say, what has changed? And many of them say, oh, not a lot. So we go there and say, lend me your vote for 5 years. And if you don't agree with me, kick me out.
ANC supporters might point to the very shiny, newish airport, the Tambo International Airport, which is inside Ekurhuleni. I mean, do you not think that there's been some progress in your city?
Well, the airport's there. That airport has always been there. They've declared it an aerotropolis, and their plans to create huge amounts of jobs. All they've done over the last year since they've created the aerotropolis is spent 100 million on creating consulting jobs, not one real job.
So this 26.7% jobless rate nationally that was released earlier this week by Stats SA.
Can you add another 10% for Ekurhuleni?
Seriously?
Yeah.
So what can be done if you become mayor there to reverse this?
Look, you've got to clean up the crime and grime, make the city responsive and open for business. You've got to cut red tape. You've got to roll out the red carpet for business. You've got to ensure that companies like Heineken and Ferrero Rocher, who came there to set up shop, were not shown the door because there was too much red tape and too much wastage of time and place. So they left. And where did they go? To Midvaal, where they're doing very well in a DA-run municipality that has an unemployment rate of 12%.
Who do you believe the EFF took votes from in 2014 in Ekurhuleni? They got about 10%, just more, 10.6% in 2014. Did those votes come from the ANC or the DA or a combination of the two?
I imagine they came from the ANC largely. They came from disaffected youth and from people who are sick and tired and open to demagoguery. I think the majority of responsible people will shy away from that now.
As a Liberal with a lowercase L, how do you compete with radical inflammatory election messages as we've seen come from the EFF in this campaign?
You stick to the facts. You refer to your track record in Cape Town and places like Midvaal and other municipalities, and the top 10 municipalities which happen to be DA, as opposed to the last 10 which happen to be ANC, and then you say, where would the EFF fit in here? Because there's no space below the last 20.
Ghaleb, why do you think, or what do you think the DA can do in Ekurhuleni to really attract a majority of the black middle class to the party?
What everybody wants, proper service delivery. As I've said, the cutting of red tape, a more business-friendly environment, the creation of a nurturing of small businesses, the friendliness to large businesses. It's not rocket science. This is a question of implementation, and a question of implementation that doesn't sit well with corruption. If you attend to those issues, you're on a winning ticket.
You make it sound simple. Thank you very much. Hier is 'n vinnige blik op buitelandse nuus.